I personally want to say thank you. I was just coming to DC, a recovering faculty member myself, towards the end of your tenure at OCR, and thinking about the impact of your work that started when you were a classroom teacher and has continued through your career as you have championed understanding that students and college students and really all people need to not only have the resources to learn and develop their skills, their talents, but also need to be in an environment where they can do that. And as a multiracial, two-spirited, out social scientist, much like my SOA co-founder, Dr. Malcolm, those champions to point out that the space in which science occurs is just as important as the science itself is so important. So thank you for your work. Thank you, Jacqueline, your incredible team here at I'm about to say Triple S, that's where I work, at ASU. President Crow, thank you so much. Everybody has been just so incredible and welcoming as we got to come here and co-host this incredible event with you all today. And we're celebrating a couple milestones. You heard Siddip, our CEO, describe 150 partners. I feel like he didn't give that quite enough weight. 150 partners. We actually are announcing that today as a new milestone that we have passed. And it really has been incredible to, this is our 12th SOA event that we have had in the last 10 months. My team is tired. But it's because of my incredible team that we've been able to go across the country and really work to co-construct this national strategy for STEM excellence and equity. We have never had in America's history a national goal around STEM equity and excellence. We've never had a plan for that. So to me, there's no wonder that we haven't actually reached that goal yet because we haven't had that opportunity. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about SOA, but I'm also going to set a scene for the breakout groups that you're about to move into, because one of the really important things that we're going to be getting from this engagement today is to really hear from you to garner your context and content expertise as we continue to refine this draft plan. So we released this draft plan just a couple of weeks ago. It's in open comment through Monday. You still have time to comment, don't worry. But this meeting in particular will be a very valuable place for us to garner your feedback. So before I dive into a little bit more about the draft itself, I wanna just give you a little bit more background about SOA. It's been an incredible journey as we've been expanding our alliance, and we continue to expand. If you are with an organization that is not yet an SOA partner, don't worry. We welcome you to join anytime. You can check out more details on our website. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But at the start, SOA represents this groundbreaking cross-sector alliance with really an audacious mission, and that's to establish a STEM ecosystem that is firmly rooted in equity, inclusion, and scientific excellence to drive progress, innovation, and prosperity for all by the year 2050. Now, if you hear that number and say, 2050, I can't wait that long, don't worry. That is our ultimate long-term strategic plan, but we are taking seriously the call that Dr. King gave us around the fierce urgency of now. What must happen in this long-term strategic plan for us to achieve that vision? What must happen today, tomorrow, and for the next 5 years and beyond? So as we look at the heart of SOA's mission, we really have this conviction that diversity and inclusion within the STEM enterprise are not just desirable outcomes. We believe that for a robust scientific community, they are crucial. It is crucial for US growth and competitiveness, but also vital for building a just society and improving people's lives. To achieve this ambitious goal, SOA is bringing together resources and diverse partners to develop a shared national strategy to achieve STEM equity and excellence. As I mentioned this month, we released the draft as one of our major milestones. When we started this work in February, we began our 12 event engagement at Morgan State University. So other side of the country, different institution, but with similar mission and purpose. And when we began, my team, we had created an 8-page framework, kind of a straw person framework to begin with. It was based on extant literature and the work that AAAS has been doing in this area for over 50 years. And we gave it to people and we said, this is a bad plan, please tear it apart and make it better. And what I'm very happy to share is that the strategy that you all have been looking at, that we shared with you ahead of the meeting, that we'll be diving into in our breakout groups, it's now over 45 pages and has had the input of 1,300 people. You can see a list of the events over the past 10 months, the last 11 events. And since the launch of the SOA at this, the STEM Opportunity Summit at the White House, we continue to make the plan more and more robust by engagements with people like you. And the crucial part to that is not only bringing your subject matter expertise, your knowledge, your experience, but it's also bringing your lived experience and your knowledge of your communities. Because the national strategy that we are creating can't just work in DC. It can't just work at a national level, because in reality, it won't work at a national level if it doesn't make a difference and work for Tempe, if it doesn't work for New Orleans, if it doesn't work for Boise, if it doesn't work for the Mississippi Delta and every other part of the country. And so part of what we'll be really asking you to do today is to help us understand how this national strategy, we're gonna be asking you to do some very difficult things in your breakout groups. I hope you're ready. There's no free tea out here, okay? Like, we're putting you to work. And we're gonna be asking you to think about how we translate crucial lived experience and context in your own communities with national levers for change and systemic transformation. We're also going to be asking you to think about this short-term and long-term kind of tension. And so I'm just going ahead and kind of prepping you that we're going to be asking you to do some really hard things, but as I learned when I was a faculty member, high expectations yield high results. And I am confident that you all will be able to help us do this. So we're thrilled to present this national strategy with you and to the broader public. There are several ways you can participate. Obviously, today you will get the chance to give us feedback and work in a particular pillar as you work in your small groups. But I did want to let you know that you'll also be able to, our open comment goes through Monday, through the end of the day Monday. And to be honest, if you are a late night worker, I won't be checking until Tuesday morning. So feel free to also give us open comment there. To make this vision a reality, we invite you to consider also joining forces with us. Cross-sector, multilateral collaborations are indispensable to SOA success. And we are committed to forging connections between industry, government, both at state, federal, and community levels, philanthropy, both corporate and private, K-12 and higher education and community organizations. This approach involves a scale and level of coordination across sectors that sets us apart and fosters shared learning and innovation, surpassing previous efforts. Systemic change within the STEM ecosystem has never been more imperative to maintain our leadership and innovation, drive scientific advancement, and stimulate economic growth in the US. We must build the STEM ecosystem of the future. I'm looking forward to talking with each of you about how we can work collaboratively to achieve these ambitious goals, and in particular to achieve parity in the STEM ecosystem by 2050. But before we send you off to your breakouts, I want to briefly orient you to the national strategy, which is a holistic approach to reaching workforce parity by 2050. I say this because I know some of you are very busy and you may not have had a chance to read a 45-page document, and it's dense. I know, I'm sorry. We're gonna make it better when it comes out for the final. We'll have pictures and infographics. It'll be much more engaging. But if you didn't get a chance to check out the full draft, I want to just quickly run over just the very high-level summary of the 5 pillars and the foundation so that you have a sense of, as you start to work in one of these 5 pillars, what are the other pillars that are around so that you have the situational awareness to continue to give really beneficial remarks. So this strategy includes 2 main elements, pillars and a foundation. The pillars target specific goals and strategies for supporting STEM learners, educators, practitioners, and really throughout their lifespans or their STEM pathways and journeys. But we know that for this work to be more than the sum of its part, it must also be coordinated, aligned, sustained, and it really requires a foundation built on accountability and partnership. So the foundation of the strategy accountability, and partnership, lays that groundwork for collaborative action with goals for developing a robust accountability measures, fostering partnerships to improve pathways and break down barriers. It also helps specify the data and the data framework that we'll need to provide public accountability and transparency for the work we're doing. Here's the other 5 pillars. The first pillar is called exposure. It offers a roadmap for bringing more diverse talent into STEM by starting early. We know exposure to STEM throughout childhood is essential to sparking and harnessing curiosity and exploration and opening pathways to our future. You'll get to see the specific goals and metrics up on the screen. You'll also have this as in hard copy in your breakout room, so no need to memorize or anything like that. The second pillar, inspiration, addresses the need for far more skilled math and science educators, both in and out of school learning environments, to meet demand. This includes a goal of ending the math and science teacher shortage in the US by 2035, by the way. Got to get to it. The third pillar, discovery, proposes a plan for closing the opportunity gap in higher education so that all students have the opportunity to gain new skills, knowledge, and experiences that can lead to the jobs of the future. And we do mean all students because, as my friend Ansley Abrams says from SREB, 10 out of 10 future jobs will be STEM or STEM related. The fourth pillar, innovation, explores how we can ensure that we're bringing diverse minds to our research community to drive innovation and solve the 21st century challenges and 22nd century challenges of the future. And then the final pillar, opportunity, describes how we can enable all workers to access opportunities to thrive in STEM jobs and careers and those non-STEM jobs that employ STEM skills.